In this session, we'll construct our new parts base feature and then examine how a revolved feature can be created. We will start a new part using the default template this time and naming the part Guide Pin. We will be sketching a profile of our base feature on the front datum plane and then extruding it on both sides, so we'll start by selecting the Extrude tool icon. And then click on Placement and Define. We will now click on the front datum plane in order to select it as our sketching plane. Notice that the right datum plane has automatically been selected as the reference plane. Since this is what we want, we'll now click the middle mouse button. As you can see, the dashed lines indicate that the top and right datum planes have automatically been selected as the sketching references. Before we start to sketch our profile, we'll turn off the display of the datum planes and the coordinate system. We'll next click the right mouse button and then select the line icon. We'll now draw the profile by using a series of left button clicks, followed by double-clicking the middle mouse button to stop the process of drawing lines and entering select mode. Next, we'll click and drag the dimensions of the profile in order to clean up the sketch. We will now click on 3 of the dimensions and change their status to be Strong Dimensions by clicking the right mouse button and selecting the Strong option. Next, we'll add a center line to our sketch. And then we'll use the Sketcher Constraint icon in order to impose symmetry in our sketch. We will do this by first selecting the center line and then the 2 endpoints that should be symmetric about the center line. Next, we will add an angular dimension by clicking on the 2 lines and then clicking the middle mouse button at the location where we wish to place the dimension. Now, in order to change the dimensions to the correct values, we'll first make sure that we're in select mode. And then we will hold the Control key down while we click on each of the linear dimensions in order to select them all, followed by selecting the Modify button. We will now make sure to check the Lock Scale option since we want all the dimensions to change. Now we'll change the Width dimension to 20. As you can see, all the dimension values change proportionately. Now we'll change the other 2 dimensions to the correct values. We will now change the angle dimension by double-clicking on it and entering the correct value. Since our sketch is now complete, we'll now click on the check mark icon. And then, in order to improve the view of our protrusion, we'll now rotate the model. In the dashboard area, we'll change the extrusion direction so that it extrudes on both sides of the sketch plane. Next, we'll set the depth to be 10 units and then finally accept the feature. We will now add a revolved feature on the top of our base feature. We will start this process by again displaying the datum planes, and then clicking on the Revolve tool icon. We'll be sketching the profile of the revolved protrusion, so we'll next select Placement and Define in the dashboard. The front datum plane will be our sketching plane, so we'll click on it now and then click on the Sketch button since the default sketch orientation will be OK. We'll now draw a half cross-sectional shape of the handle, which will then be revolved 360 degrees about a center line that we must also include in our sketch. Since we want the revolved cross-section to sit directly on the base feature, we'll now click on the top surface of our base feature in order to add it as a reference. And then we'll rotate the model slightly in order to view our new reference. Since it appears correct, we will close the reference window. And then we will reorient the sketch. And dragging it back to the bottom of the screen. We'll now select the line icon, and then using a series of left clicks, we'll sketch the feature's cross-sectional shape. Notice that the last line of our sketch lies on the axis of the revolved feature and also closes the cross-sectional shape. All revolved protrusions must also have a center line that lies on the axis of revolution, so we'll select the centerline option. And then click the left mouse button twice to place the center line. We must now modify the dimensions so that the handle is the correct size. We will now jump to the point after which all of the dimensions have been modified. Since we have completed our sketch, we'll click on the checkmark icon. The angle listed in the dashboard is 360 degrees, so we'll now verify the part. And then accept it by clicking on the checkmark icon.